Yep, and I was on mute. Didn't realize that. Hello, everybody. We're live streaming on YouTube. Give me a second. I'm going to share that we are live, and then I will be right with you guys. All right, everybody. So what is going on? Tuesday here. Let's take a look at the pre-market. Let's look at the futures real quick first. Here we go. So futures are up a little bit. You can see kind of that cup and handle pattern right here. It needs to get above that 2740-ish area to continue upwards, and then look for some resistance around that 2786-ish range or 85. So yeah, Rose has been killing it with futures. So yeah, you want to see the market get above this line here, this resistance line, and continue upwards. So gotta watch and see. So let's look at some from the watch list, and then we'll pull up trade ideas. APRN. This is one to keep an eye on right here. It's a little bit overbought, so be careful. This is Blue Apron. You want to see it get above and stay above $3. So you can see there's some volume pre-market. Want to see it get above that 307 marker, continue upwards. If it can, be aware of some resistance at 350 and then also the 200 SMA. So this is one I will keep on watch. APRN. It's going to be a slower mover if you look. Shares outstanding. It's kind of high amount. So, this is one to, it might be just, again, kind of a slower mover. I'm just going to move this over here a little bit. So APRN, going to keep an eye on that one. What's up, Big Bear? MTP. For anybody that's new, it's joining us very quickly. We turn the chat off on our YouTube because we do all our chatting over in our trading room. We have two of them over here, a day trading room and a swing trading room. So we're doing all of our talking in our trade rooms. So come join us. You can subscribe here. We're only $10 a month. Yes, that is correct. $10 a month. Some people are like, oh, $10? Is that too good to be true? Well, no, it's not. We are only $10. All right, so Blue Apron, we're going to keep that on watch. Don't like that pattern pre-market. Where is this one here? Some resistance right around that 420-ish marker. It's getting a little bit of volume pre-market. AQMS might be one for peripherally to watch. Just because you can see some pre-market resistance right around that 410 marker. So you can see right up over here, you want to see it get above that kind of that 420 marker for potential continuation upwards. So we'll keep an eye peripherally on that one. When I say peripherally, I have a couple watch lists. Ones that I'm watching right at the open, and then one that I kind of put on a screen like this. I kind of have two screens like this with 6 things up here. So I kind of watch these and just let the patterns kind of form, and that's when we just keep an eye on it when the market opens, let those patterns form. Sometimes they'll run right away. Sometimes they'll take a while, and then sometimes they don't move at all, right? Excuse me. That's how the market works. ACBFF, Canadian pot stock. Not doing anything right now pre-market, but these things, they pump and they dump. So, this is one I'm going to keep peripherally on the side. I'll watch to see if it can get above that 720 area. You can see it's rejecting off the 50 SMA, so it's got to break above the 50 and then get above $7. So I'll keep that one on peripheral watch as well. So far, like APRN, the best. Again, got to be careful, that's where I look at some of these, and then I look at trade ideas as well, because a lot of the times trade ideas will go, they'll run really quick, they'll pump or they'll dump, or or they'll sell off really quickly and then buyers come back in, or they'll just sell off, right? That was weird. That was some noise outside. So they have lots of volatility, where a lot of these ones on the watch list, they kind of fly under the radar. So sometimes they kind of slowly grind, or they might run kind of quickly right away, and you might be distracted by something, by trade ideas, when something on the watch list is going. So that's why I kind of do a mix of both, right? Let's take a look at, so ACBFF, I'm going to put peripherally. OGRMF, that is another Canadian pot stock. That's another one I'll keep peripherally on watch. And I want to see it get above that 402 level. All right, let's take a look at GNW. That one's slowly creeping up. Not much volume at all. There's nothing pre-market. But this one, if it continues upwards, again, it's a little overextended. Watch for resistance around $4. Don't really love it right now. And let's take a look at a couple of the other ones. NVTA. If this one continues up, look for some resistance. Obviously at $7.50 half-dollar amount, and then also at $7.94 at that 200 SMA. This one right here, some resistance around 1764. That's for LCI. If it can get above that, it might have some chance to go towards this gap here. You can see a gap on the daily right between 1850 on up. So if it could break that, 1750 marker, then watch, there's a potential gap there for those of you guys that like to trade some higher price stocks. And CCXI, not doing much of anything right now. So let's take a look at some from trade ideas. BLNKW. Let me see that one. Yeah, it's all over the place this morning, huh? Might be having this kind of wedge, or this symmetrical triangle. You guys see this here on a daily? Let's do this right here. So you can see kind of a bull pennant, symmetrical triangle bull pennant up here. Might be trying to break out. You can see right over here, pre-market highs around, what's that, 370-ish area. So, draw a line over here. You can see it's kind of pulling back right below it. So watch for this one. This one might have a crazy breakout. It's very volatile. The spreads suck right now, but it's one to keep an eye on. I think that one runs, with BLNK. Let me take a look at that. Let's try that. Yeah, it looks like it's running kind of like the same thing, right? So you can see it's kind of got that, you can call it like a bull flag, or you can call it kind of a triangle as well, depending on how you draw it. So, I think they're intertwined, BLNK with BLNKW. Let's see here. Yeah, see this one's moving up pre-market right here. You can see it already filled a gap back over here. So, it might be pulling back and going to break out. You can see there's some volume pre-market. So I'm going to put BLNK. Yeah, there it is down there. I think they run together, but I'm not familiar with the two of them. But you can see pre-market high right there on 810. I'm going to put BLNK on rather than BLNKW. So BLNK is definitely one to watch. So BLNK I like so far. It's going to do something. It's either going to be it's going to pump up, or it's going to drop down, right? Just crazy looking chart. I like BLNKW. I like APRN. Let's see what else we got. Let's look at SGOC. Not doing much of anything right now. There's pre-market highs around $1.50 right now. So it kind of went up here. It's kind of pulling back. Not doing much of anything at this moment. You know, got to see at the open, see if it gets volume. You can see it's got a history of pumping and dumping, right? No news going on. So let me go back to BLNK. 522. So yeah, it looks like BLNK has some news this morning. Yeah, so you can see it's a low floater. It's got some news, pumping up pre-market. It's got some volume. So yeah, we're gonna keep BLNK. SGOC I didn't really care for. Let's take a look at PLAB. What's going on, NASA? And not doing too much of anything right now. SNES. I know some people were talking about that one earlier. Let's take a look. SNES. You can see it finished right above the 200 SMA yesterday. You can see right over here. That's where it closed. And there is actually not a gap over there, but you can see pre-market high up over here at 158. So it has a bunch of volume right now. Closed above the 200 SMA. Big jump up yesterday. It is overextended, but you know, many times with these big candles, you might have a second or a third day that runs, kind of trading in this channel right now. So obviously you want to see it go and break above that 158 marker. So this is one I'll keep on watch. SNES. So far we're looking at BLNK right over here, SNES, and then APRN. Let's take a look at CHEK. Let me remove the drawings. Pre-market high around 528, which is right in here. You have this gap, right? There's kind of a big gap inside here. Lots of resistance. So prices in this gap, or it's right actually below it. You can see the gap starts right around that 547 mark or above. Kind of see right up in here. So it's got lots of overhead resistance. You know, it's kind of trading sideways. You know, it's one of those ones to keep an eye on. It'll be volatile, either going up or going down. So I might peripherally put this one to the side. CHEK. I'm still liking BLNK, APRN, and SNES a little bit better. You too, Golden. Let's see if anything else is hitting me. Not much really at the moment right now. So guys, looking at, let's see, SNES, want to see if it could break above 158 pre-market high. It's kind of trading in this channel right now. Let's see where the gap is, or the gap 133 filled the gap. So this right here, we're just seeing if it's going to continue upwards. Again, it closed above the 200 SMA. Want to see if it can stay above it over here, break above 158. And, you know, see, it looks like it has a history of doing some pumping, right? So see if it gets a pump or a continuation day. See if it can get above that 158 pre-market high. APRN is going to be a slower mover probably. It's higher float. So at this point, pre-market high is now 310. Let me remove. I'll just keep that on there. So needs, I mean, it's slowly building volume. A little bit overextended. You can see kind of a big cup pattern here. It's got some room to move if it can go up. Be aware of 350 resistance and then obviously the 200 SMA. This could be a slower grind. And BLNK, this will be some crazy one. This will either pump or dump. Right now it's just kind of wacky, right? You know, it's getting a little bit messy. You know, there you go. 820 pre-market high. This might be doing a head and shoulders now. Or it looked a little bit bullish before. Now it might be doing a head and shoulders. Gotta say. You know, take a look. Or it might be bull flagging, right? So it looks in a 1 minute almost like a head and shoulders. Or this could be like kind of a crazy looking bull flag. It's going to be volatile, right? Bottom line. Because obviously, actually it was in the gap. It already filled it. But it's just kind of a crazy mover. So SNES might be the better looking one right now. It's broaching pre-market high. So see if it can get above that 158. It's broaching pre-market high. If it breaks it, you want to see it break and hold. Just reject it off pre-market high. Now it's just breaking above pre-market high now. You want to see it hold. It's hitting trade ideas. Now when the retest happens, you obviously want to see it hold if you're bullish on it. Many times these will go on a break pre-market high and then dump right back down. Bit overextended here, right? So on the 1 minute, it's overextended. Still has some room in the 5 minutes, but it's broaching overbought. But many times, again, got to watch the pattern play out. Many times you get like a 5 minute bigger green candlestick, then it might pull back and bull flag before it goes up, or many times it just goes up and just dumps back down. But you obviously want to see it hold the pre-market high and continue. If you got in at the break above pre-market high, it went from 158 and it's already up to 174. Not a bad scalp. That's where you'd have to use hotkeys, right? In and out. So at this point, watch if it bull flags, kind of pulls back a little and goes up on the 1 minute, or watch if it dumps and just fails that 158. Again, if you play something like this or trade this, you have to be really quick on these hotkeys. APRN is now breaking pre-market highs. See if 310 if the retest holds. Right here. Again, got to be really quickly if this is going to hold and both and throw a little hammer and go up, or if it's just going to fail. So that's where you got to determine, again, guys, whether you're like a 5 minute trader and you want to let the kind of pattern form and hold, or if you're just going to do a 1 minute and just trade these hotkeys, right? There's no right or wrong way to do it, but the right way to do it is making sure you have proper risk management. You know, very, very important. BLNK is possibly forming a bull flag on the 5 minute. It's still deciding on its 5 minute candle. If it holds a decent 5-minute candle. See if it can break and get above $8. Still indecisive. New high is 178. Now needs to break and hold above the 178 and continue. You still haven't had the 5-minute candle hold yet or finish yet. We're only 4 minutes into the market. And you have a, you know, almost a 30-cent candle. So obviously, if you're bullish on it and the 5-minute candle closes, you would obviously want to see price get above the 5-minute candle and continue up. But again, be aware a lot of times the candle will pull back a little bit on the second one to either bull flag and go up or just dump. So at this point right here, you want to see it break above the 180 and continue. You can see right now it's going up, it's pulling back. Yeah, futures are up today. They're up near 2740s range, so you want to see it get above that. If it continues. Keep an eye again on BLNK. Kind of doji 5-minute candle. See if it can continue up, get above that like $7.90 to $8 marker. I'll take a look at that one in a minute. So this is showing some weakness right now. Right here, definitely on the 1 minute. You don't want to see it pull back much further here. This could either bull flag and go up, or that just could be it. It goes up and dumps back down. GNW is slowly creeping up. We'll come back to SNES. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here, or the daily. So this one's kind of slowly creeping up right now, kind of a little bit of bull flagging. Not much going on in the pattern right now, but let's see here. Yeah, kind of got that doji potential candle forming. You want to see it hold above. Kind of has like a flat top here, but you want to see it get above and hold, not dump down. Let's go over. Yeah, so look at this. SNES, I go back to it right away. See that, guys? Kind of those tweezer tops. You know, goes up, pulls right back down. Very close to tweezer tops. It's a little bit lower, but, you know, and there you go. There's your FU. There's your middle finger. Drops right back down, right? Put your hand up to the screen. Put your middle finger here, your knuckles there. There's your little FU pattern. Tweezer tops here. That's why patterns are very important, guys. You'll hear me just over and over and over and over and over again, just talking about patterns. So ideally, you know, if you want to be safest, you want to find a good potential breakout on a daily with a good pattern, and then come down and look at intraday charts, a 5-minute and a 1 minute, and you ideally want to see a good setup on a 5-minute, and then look for your entry on a 1 minute, and then decide whether you're going to get out based upon a 1 minute, like scalping, or whether you're going to get out based on the pattern on the 5-minute. Again, not really a right or wrong way. It depends on what type of trader you are, but patterns really put the odds more in your favor. Now, you could be a hotkey person that kind of gets in and says, hey, I'm just going to get in at the break of pre-market, you know, high, sell, you know, right up in this area with my hotkeys, get in and get out, and then maybe use like a close below pre-market high as your stop. So like you could have gotten in over here with a hotkey 164 up to in this range 180s, you know, it's still 15, 16 cent scalp. You could have just hotkey, bang, get in, get out when you see these wicks if you wanted, make 10, you know, 15 cents. Or if you're more of a pattern trader, you can kind of let this play out, see it retest down here, watch if it continues and moves up and creates a pattern. Again, it's a matter of your preference. Not seeing much of anything right now. Let's take a look at BLNK. So this one's a little bit messy right now. I was keeping an eye on this one because of the potential of, let's do this here. Like this. If you draw your trend lines, kind of, I was looking at like this, right? Kind of like that bull flag potentially. Kind of trading in this channel. So we want to see if it's going to just crash out of it or if it's going to go and break above. So I'd like to see it ideally get above $8. Psychological resistance, right? What the heck? Here we go. Kind of right here, right? So I see this bull flag right here on a 5 minute, kind of in this channel here on a 1 minute. I want to see it ideally go, and obviously $8 is going to be a psychological resistance point. You'd like to see it if it's going to bull flag, break out, and then get above $8. And SNES is forming a very similar pattern to this one right now. I'll pull SNES back up again. But as you guys can see here, so, you know, it looks like a bull flag. You can kind of, it poked out right over here, right? So again, what I'd be looking for in this one is for it to break out of this flag and get ideally above $8. Then be careful of 8.20 as well, kind of right in this area. But showing some weakness at this point. Going back to SNES again. Much choppier on the 1 minute. You know, if I look over here, you know, kind of like this a little bit, right? It's a little bit harder with this wick over here, but kind of want to see it break out again above 180. See if it bull flags and gets out, or if it fails. This one kind of has more of a triangular shape to it right here, right? See that? Kind of a pennant or a triangle. So this one right here, you want to see it again go and break out above $8. And APRN might be creeping up. APRN kind of has a triangle as well. Kind of right here, right? Want to see this one go and break out as well, and then break above the high of that 313s, kind of trading again in this triangle. Want to see it break out, get above 313. And this one, APRN and SNES are doing very similar setups again right here. You can see kind of in this triangle, right? In this triangle, you want to see it hold, break out of 180, right? Break out of this triangle, break out above the high. APRN, same thing. You want to see it break out of this triangle, break above 313. BLNK, still struggling. It's still in this, you know, pulling back over here, right? It's testing the 9 EMA and the 5 minute. You want to see that hold and then break out. If you guys are watching on YouTube, again, just a quick plug over here. We turn the chat off on YouTube because we do our chatting. We have a day trade room and a swing trade room. We do most of our chatting over in here. Again, we're $10 a month. Super cheap. So let me go back over to SNES again. So kind of just watching these patterns, right? Pattern, you got this triangle, see what happens here. Let's give it a moment, let it play out, see if it'll hold or if it's going to fail. It's starting to fail out of it right now. But right here, see if that 158 retest will hold and continue. So guys, I was talking last night on the Watch This video that we did, letting you know how this works, right? So how all of this kind of like this day trading, if you're new to day trading and how it works, there's so many different chat rooms and so many different trade rooms that are out there. And, you know, if you're new, you want to be careful, right? You don't want to just buy just because somebody else is buying and making money, right? You want to buy if the setups are right, you know, just because right now, SNES, for instance, it's on trade ideas. It's hitting trade ideas all over the place. Does that mean you should buy it right now? Well, not really. I mean, the pattern's not looking so hot, right? But, you know, a chat room this morning somewhere, you know, could have just said, you know, could have, again, this is actually a perfect example of what to be aware of, right? So a chat room, you know, with a big trader, you know, a big trader that has a big following here. By the way, keep an eye on this one right here. It's still kind of forming that triangle. I'm going to do this. Let's do, it's still kind of, it's kind of right in this range, like a little bit, right? So you want to see it again, the 5-minute pattern hold, and then ideally break out. Still in the triangle. These triangles can get very sloppy, but just keep an eye on it, right? So, yeah, perfect example. So a big trader, a big chat room can go in that has a big size account, that has a big following, 500,000 people or more, and they could have mapped this out pre-market and gotten in at the break of a pre-market high, 158 right here, right? Keep an eye on it right here, guys. See if it can get above 180. I'll get back to my story in a moment. So at this point, you want to see it go, break out of this triangle, and get above 180, or see if it fails at 180. It's touching it right now. Sometimes you can't get these trend lines exact. You kind of got to gauge or eyeball it a little bit. But you can see there's a triangle forming. And you can see this 180 is a very important area to get above. Retesting. If it breaks 180, you want, now it breaks it, you want to see it hold. So if it retests, you want to see 180 hold. And it's still hitting trade ideas. So you can see kind of broke out of that triangle. Watch if the retest of 180 holds, if there is one. There we go. So newbies, if you're watching this, you want to be very careful. If you were to trade something like this, you have to be very careful buying out in these areas over here when price is far away from these moving average lines. You ideally want to take trades when price is close to the moving average lines and the setup looks good. Buying at support, these moving average lines, selling out here. I'm not saying to sell now, I'm not saying to buy, but you know, if you're taking it on a 1 minute, you want to buy closer to the moving average lines, not way out here, right? Or, you know, like if you're on the 5-minute chart, you could have taken it right over here at the break above this candle right here, using maybe a stop below here, right? So break above 174 with a close below 162. Good risk management, you know, if you were to take the trade. So breaks above here, 174 up to 188. That's a 14-cent scalp. You know, pretty good, right? And now it's starting to fail. So again, kind of this triangle or that bull flag, whatever you want to call it, breaks out. Tweezer tops on a 1 minute. Now it's struggling to hold support right here around that 180. APRN is broaching again. Very similar setup to SNES. Remind me to get back to my story. Here to trade. Yeah, we're always open to it. You know, guys, we're different. We're not trying to make ourselves rock stars. We don't care about pumping ourselves up or making ourselves heroes. No offense to anybody else. That's just not who we are. So yeah, we're all about a community. So we always have our eyes out. As you can see in our trade room right now, if you go over here, you'll see there are other red names over here that are other than just me and Dan, right? That's because we keep our eyes out, right? For those that are willing to help out and give back and want to help grow. Again, this movement is not about me, Tim, or Dan. It's about you guys. So, you know, as we grow, we have a big vision for things. If things continue to grow, there might be more people that come on board that we have give things. So, yeah, we'd love to have guest appearances and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, anybody listening to this, if you guys have the same vision as us and you want to give back and help people, we always keep our eyes out for that. So you can see it's kind of trapped up in here between 180 to 188-ish range. You want to see it go and break out. Rose, we always have our eyes on you. We'd love to have Rose do guest appearances. David's been killing it too. We got to get Amanda. Amanda, we got our eyes on you and David. Hope you're listening. So, all right, perfect example. So going back here for a second. So giving you guys, again, this is just kind of playing itself out. So here's how the game is, right? There's chat rooms all over the place. Trade rooms, there's we got Trade Ideas up, you know, Trade Ideas, that's our favorite tool, but there's also tons of other scanners, right? There's Trade Ideas, FinViz, Benzinga, or bar charts, free ones, Thinkorswim, all that kind of stuff, right? So now, chat rooms. I'm on YouTube live right now, right? So there's probably about, I don't know, maybe like a 10-second delay on this. We can go to, we're probably going to do our other service at some point too, maybe join.me or another service, but still there's always going to be a delay. No matter what, even when you're talking on a cell phone, you know, there's a second or so delay, right, in your conversation. You might not miss it, but there's a delay. But typical screen sharing services, they're still always going to have a second or two delay. So perfect example is if we were careful here, watch for 188. There it goes. You want to see it go and break above. See if it can get up over that 188-ish marker. I'm going to finish the story at some point, but we got time, right? No rush. Awesome job, Jerby. Great job. I love it, David. Love it. Amanda, that's all right. If you're a little shy, that's okay. We've got time. We ain't going anywhere. APRN is kind of breaking above. Let's keep an eye on that. APRN is doing a very similar pattern here to SNES. And it's kind of breaking out. Let me go over to that one. Right here, kind of has that ascending triangle flat top, right? You want to see the retest, hold, and break above that 314 marker to continue. Nice. I love it. I love it. We have Bullish Bears, or a couple that's in the Bullish Bears, trading together. I love hearing that. I have a feeling Amanda's going to end up beating David, though. That's just my hunch. So APRN and SNES are doing very similar patterns right now. Hey, Amanda. Man, I don't know which one to watch right now. Now, don't sleep on BLNK. It might be bull flagging here on the 5-minute. It might be holding the 5-minute. APRN, it's kind of bouncing around right here. These triangles, guys, as you can see, when they break out, many times they'll get volatile. It gets a little bit messy. Now I got to kind of trade. I'll change my lines in a few minutes. Go over here to BLNK. So this is why I have charts peripherally set up, guys. Many times it, you know, again, these will either dump or they'll set up a pattern and continue. So it's just been falling. But I was watching over here to see if he would close above the 9 on the 5-minute for a potential breakout of the bull flag. And APRN and SNES are very, very trade together, stay together. Yeah, right? So All right, so I'm going to finish my story here. Whatever. We're going to let this play out, right? So, again, so going back to things, there's always going to be kind of a delay of some sorts with technology, right? So this is why you got to be careful if you're new and you're going to a place and you want to have somebody call out trades to you. Number one, if you're just going to see and you're looking to study that way and see how somebody trades, that's understandable, right? But if you're trying to go and you want trades always called out to you, and that's kind of what your intention is, then that's where you got to be very, very careful, right? Because you got to remember that trader or that guru is always going to get that position before you, before they call out their trades to their members. Again, keep an eye on a potential break above 190. So, perfect example. Let's take a hypothetical situation right now. Let's say we wanted to take a trade on SNES. So let's do a hypothetical. This morning, we're mapping out SNES this morning. And if we were a typical trading service, again, there's going to be a delay. Let's say we were looking to get in at the break of pre-market high on SNES. Dan is a super quick hotkey. Well, actually, David's the hotkey ninja. Dan is the trendline master, but they both love to use hotkeys, right? So they're hotkey fans, right? So I like to use hotkeys as well. I'm more of a kind of pattern guy. So I like patterns more. I'm a little bit less like get in and then get out. But many trade rooms out there, many big, trade rooms are fans of getting in and getting out, right? Really quickly. So now, if we were kind of, someone else, anybody else that are out there or a trade room, you get in your hotkeys, you have a following, right? So you guys are following us. We decide to get in at the break of pre-market high right over here at that 158. So we slam on our hotkeys right here, right? So now we call out that trade. I say in SNES right now, right? So if I just said market opens in SNES, right? So now we have a 1 second delay, 2 second delay. Now you guys hear in SNES. Now you guys are, going to start following, right? So you're going to start, okay, cool. Lucian's in SNES. We're going to get in now. And, you got that 2 second delay. Now it's going to take you guys 10 to 15 seconds or so, depending on how quick you are to get in and get in your order entry. That might put you somewhere right around these candles right in here, right? So now you're starting to buy in here. We're in down over in here, right? We have a better position than you, right? Just, hey, we call it out to you. You guys kind of get in over here. Then what happens, you start buying in over here. You got some volume. Now what happens? It hits Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas sees a bunch of people are starting to buy, which starts to create this for potential continuation up. Now, meanwhile, we're back in here at 160 or so. Price is getting up to about 175 or so. So you guys are caught probably right up in this area. And meanwhile, we're about dumping already right over here, right? So we're probably dumping right over here. We got in at 160 to 164. We're heroes. We're up 14 cents. And then I say, out SNES. Boom. Let's say we sell whatever, somewhere right in here. And meanwhile, trade ideas people and many of our newbies, right, would be getting trapped up in here. We're out over here. You're buying up here. And now look what happens. Bam! Right here. So we call it a delayed trade, couple seconds. You guys are chasing out. You chased us on the way in. You're chasing us on the way out. Meanwhile, we made 14 cents. We used our account as leverage. We're heroes. Great. Look at us. And meanwhile, you guys are bag holding. Price drops down over here. And that's the game, right? So it's very easy, guys. Very simple for us. Again, we have a much lower membership fee. But it's very easy for us, it's very easy to trade very simply when you make all your money off memberships and you can put money in an account and just use your following to pump up trades. Not that it's, hey, that's the game, right? That's the game. So the easiest thing that we could do, guys, is get in over here in SNES. You guys follow us. We dump. We make 10, 14, 15 cents. You guys get caught bag holding. We show you our brokerage account showing we made $1,000, $2,000 that day. We're heroes. We just use you guys to pump up stocks. That's my rant. Over and over and over, guys. So that being said, first of all, here's APRN breaking out right over here. And you can kind of see it broke out kind of right over... let's see, right around here, kind of broke out. That ascending triangle broke out. See if it can hold and then get back above 318. So that's why we don't call out trades to you guys. We're just showing you guys support and resistance so that you guys can make these trades yourself, right? Showing you guys patterns, support, resistance. You guys make your own trading decisions. But man, wouldn't it be easy right now for me to just get into position here, call it out to you guys, and just look like a hero? That'd be great. Oh, man. Let's take a look at CDT. Actually, so keep an eye on this right here. Flat top, broke out. Kind of creates a new high over here, 318. See if it bull flags and breaks above, or if it fails that 314 area. Actually, let's keep an eye on this one for a moment. Rose, you're killing it. Rose, you just made 1260? Dang. Nice job, Rose. Nice, just did 300 on 4 ticks. Awesome, DB. Here we go. Keep an eye on 318. See if it breaks and holds. We'd love for Rose to be our futures trader someday. So Rose, if you're listening, keep killing it. So consistency, right? Got to keep Rose check a little bit, right? Not saying she won't be consistent, but very important, guys, right? It's very easy to get the highs of these wins, right? But you need to be able to just consistently do them long term. So Rose is killing it. She's doing great. But so now it's important to keep yourself in check and do this consistently and long term. Super important. And I'm keeping an eye still on BLNK. Might be trying to move up a little bit. So again, APRN is going to be a slower grind, higher float. So see if it bull flags and continues. Use this 9 EMA as a guide on both. It's a little bit overextended right here on the 5-minute. And BLNK is failing. All right, CDTI, I haven't looked at that one. That's been all over Trade Ideas. So let's take a look. Lots of volume, and there we go. See how quick that stuff happens, guys? so quickly. Let's do this. So this one was setting up for a break above $1, right? So it went up, broke $1 today. So you can see down over, hold on, I'm just itching my head. So newbies, if you're trading this, right? So you wouldn't even have seen this. This is down over here. It wasn't looking really great, right? Just had this, it's just trading sideways. This candle yesterday was kind of garbage, right? But if you put a kind of a line over there, you can see this morning, price kind of bull flag, trading sideways, and then kind of broke out here, right? Got some volume, pulled back over here. So newbies, you want to get in. Watch your trend line video. Yep. Good call, Dan. Watch Dan's trend lines video right over here, guys, if you're new. Under members only videos. We have all our all of our courses over here for free right here. But then we have all this private members content, how to trade candlestick patterns, reversal patterns. And then here's a bunch on trend lines right over here on how to trade these patterns. So that's all our exclusive members content. All right. Dan is the trend line master. So guys, as you can see back over here, price kind of broke out right over here, right above that 5-minute candle. So ideally you would want to get in a break above that 5-minute candle using a close below that stop, or a close below this candle as your stop. And then you can kind of ride it and then decide when you're going to take profits. But you want to buy newbies when price is closer to the 9 EMA, not out in these areas per se, right? Not when it's extended, but when it's closer in, right? Closer in, you can see bull flag here. You could have gotten in at the break right over on this 1-minute candle and then used a close below the 9 as your stop. And then, you know, obviously start taking profits when it's out in these areas, right? No man's land. So, you know, that's, again, play these patterns, you know, and then you can kind of get in and then draw your trend line. You can kind of, you know, do this. Let me zoom out a little bit. Obviously, you'd have to adjust it a little bit, but you can kind of do a little bit of a, you know, kind of like this a little bit on the 1 minute. And obviously, it's way extended. It's going to want to pull back. But you got to be careful. You know, when price gets out overextended like this, it's just going to want to pull back. And that's what you'll see. It just moves up, and then it dumps. Yep. So, again, big, major green candlestick. So, again, think about it, guys. This is how it works. Price, somebody or multiple people are talking for whatever reason about CDTI. It hits trade ideas like crazy, right? And then, you know, if Dan or I or Tim decided to say, hey, guys, in CDTI, you know, that's going to bring in more volume, right? Not that it's wrong. That's just, hey, in CDTI, you see we get in CDTI, you get in on our 1 or 2 up to 10-second delay. You're chasing it up. You know, we're always going to get a better entry than you, right? And we're always going to sell before you, you know, if you're waiting for our sell order, we're going to get out before you. We're going to get in before you, right? And then more price hits trade ideas. So now, you know, there could be a stock room, you know, chat room out there that's whatever. They want to pump it up or whatever they're doing. But here's where the newbies are getting trapped. These areas are not where the professionals are buying. The professionals are not buying out here. The big trade rooms, the big names, they're not buying out here. They're buying down in these areas, maybe down in here for a break. All right. So another trade room could have maybe gotten in over here, you know, at a break above $1.13 saying in CDTI. Boom. Now they got in right over here and they're going to sell probably right out in this area. They're not even going to probably wait out here, right? So now you're chasing, you're a newbie, you're buying out here, right? Boom. They're saying out CDTI and you're buying over here and you're getting stuck. Right? Again, professionals are not buying out here. This is where the newbies are buying. Professionals are not buying out here. They're not buying out here. They're buying down here in these areas. They're looking for these little bull flag patterns right here. They're not buying as it's falling like this. They're not catching a falling knife saying, hey, let's buy over here. No. I hope you guys are paying attention. All right, let's take a look at, see, as you can see, I'll show you just a few of these guys. BLNK again, going back to it. Go back here. It kind of, see how it kind of was in this channel. Kind of did a little bit of a fake out over here, right? A little bit of a fake out. You might think that it was trying to hold and get above right over here, and it just failed to kind of continue upwards. So it failed at 765 marker, right? Went up here, and then it kind of failed. So not saying it can't go up, but pattern's not looking so hot. APRN pattern, you can see, had an ascending triangle, flat top break, 314 to 318. Then you had your tweezer tops right over here, reversal down, not doing much of anything. And SNES right here. You had your quick bull flag in the morning right over here, broke from 174 up to the 190 marker. There's your 16-cent move. Now it's looking crappy. It's looking kind of like a head and shoulders, kind of a headish area, left shoulder, kind of right shoulder would be right at $1.80, right? And yeah, a lot of crap, a lot of garbage looking at. Oh, hold on, I just nailed my computer. Let's take a look at VXRT. That's hitting trade ideas. And there you go, right? Trade ideas is awesome, guys, but you got to hit the moves right. You got to get in at the break of these candles down over here. Well, what happens, again, very simple, newbies, pay attention. Stock hits trade ideas. Everybody gets, all the newbies get FOMO. Trade room, you know, the guru's getting in down over here, and they're saying, in VXRT. And so now, meanwhile, they're in VXRT at 540. You're getting, you know, guys, I'm up $1,500 right now. I'm up $2,000 right now. VXRT's flying. It's running. Now newbies are buying out over here. And meanwhile, you know, the guru's probably selling out up over in here. Oh, man, I just got in at 540. I'm killing it. I just made 40 cents profit. Or maybe they got in really quick on hotkeys, like a hotkey, bam, bam, like this, right? Pulls back real quick, got in here, in VXRT, right? Break above 6, they're banging their hotkeys out in seconds. You're trapped as a newbie, you're getting screwed. Meanwhile, they're heroes, and here's my $5,000 or $10,000 gain on the day, right? Nice job, ENW. So this is, again, where you got to be careful, newbies. You never, ever, 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 unless you, like, you can scalp these, right? You can scalp a quick move like this, but you got to have cojones of steel, right? I mean, this is bam, bam, like right this, bam, bam. You can trade these if you get really good, but we just don't advocate doing this. Look at the traps, right? You can get in hotkeys, bam, bam, and then bam, 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 bam. But you could also look at this 610 down to 571. That's going to make you want to vomit. That's why we're advocates of teaching you guys patterns and trading the best setups. Bull flag on CDTI. Let me take a look. Potentially. Yeah, potentially. I can see what you're saying. It's getting... Kinda. It's a little bit messy. You got to be careful. You want to see it get above the 130s marker. It's just this candle right here gets in the way. You know, the pattern's not great. And you got this candle's a little bit messier down here. You want to see it get above 130. Not saying to trade this by any means, but if you were, you could potentially get in at the break above that 128-ish candle. But again, be aware of resistance out in these areas. So you could always use a stop. You know, if you were to control risk management, this is where, again, guys, not saying to do this, but this is where newbies, you don't buy out in these areas. If you were to risk taking a trade on this, you could see 128 down to 112. Not the greatest risk management, but it's still about a 16-cent candle. So if you were to risk it and you got in at the break of this candle, you can use a close below this candle as your stop. You want to use tight risk management. I still don't really love this pattern. At this point, it's breaking above it. You want to see it hold now. Be aware of this resistance. Right up in these areas, got to break out. All right, so now it's going to broach it. See if it can get above. There it goes. It's going to hit it. See that? Hits resistance. It has to break out. You want to see it break out. You don't want to see it fail this. So again, something like this doesn't mean it can't go up. It doesn't mean it can't run. So now we can kind of just exchange or change this, by the way. We can move this trend line out to maybe kind of over here a little bit, right? So now you exchange your trend or change your trend lines up a little bit. So again, it doesn't mean this pattern can't go up, right? But you got to remember something. It's dealing with this. It's contending with that big 5-minute candle and that huge shooting star. This affects this. So the pattern is not great on this because of this big, huge 5-minute candle with this shooting star. So this over here, this pattern on that 5-minute affects what's happening over here. So you can see price broke above on the 5-minute over here, closed above. Now it's, you know, it's deciding what it's going to do. But what's happening over here on the 1 minute is in contention with these areas over here, right? It affects it. That's why it's important to find the patterns. Unless you're, unless you were trying to play like you're going to do hotkeys, right? So you want to get in over here. So maybe you got in, where's right over here? You know, a break. If you got into the break above this 1 minute candle right here, you're trying to get that 123 to 130. You know, you're trying to get this 10-cent scalp, right? But if you're a newbie thinking, oh, if I get in over here, it's going to go way up here and break above. Well, not necessarily, because it's got to deal with all this over here. So you can get in, you know, when price breaks above the 9 over here and just kind of play this 1 to 3 minutes. But be aware, the pattern's not looking great. Let's look at APRN. So blue apron may be going. You can see it flat top break over here, kind of pulling back. It is holding the 5-minute. So now you can see a 9 and 20 crossover. That's a potential good sign. So now you want to see it go, see if it's going to continue, and then break above that 318. Still not moving a ton. It's just a slow grinder. You can kind of draw your trend line now. Kind of right here, you can kind of see kind of a trend line here. Want to see it. You can see one up, came back down, kind of held support right here. Buyers pushing it back up. Now you want to see if it can go and break above 318. If it breaks above 318, you want to see a hold, right? When a stock breaks resistance, right? This is resistance. It then becomes support. So when it breaks above this area, Ideally, you want to see it hold and not fail. Yeah, we're fans of Interactive Brokers, the TWS, Hannah. We love Thinkorswim for charting, but not for trading. Unless you're trying to do smaller positions and stuff, and you can use like Thinkorswim has this feature over here. I hate to do it. I don't want to mess up my charts right now. If I do this and I show my sidebars and cells, there's a big buttons feature. You can take our free Thinkorswim course on our website. Their big buttons is pretty good. You could buy at the ass, sell at the bid, get in and out. But there's no buffer for their hotkeys. Like you can't do a 5-cent, buffer, right? Yeah, TWS takes some getting used to. Interactive Brokers charts suck, but their platform is good to trade. Fees are good. They're actually located near Dan and I. At some point, we're gonna, if Interactive Brokers is listening, eventually we're gonna put them on our radar and see if we can get a meeting with them and tell them to get their act together. There we go. See, now it's kind of like, it's a little bit kind of this indecision right here, right? Is it going to do a cup and handle? Is it going to do like an inverse head and shoulders and break out above the 318, or is it going to fail? Again, be aware of a movement like a stock like this. Very important, guys, right? Very high float. Very high float. It just moves slow. So high floaters are going to be lower risk, lower reward. Low floats are going to be higher risk, higher reward. So I'll show you a difference in a moment. You can see this thing's been slowly grinding this morning. 315 to 318, like the base of this candle on up. That's really only 13 cents. It's kind of a slow move. But again, it could be more, you can play patterns a little bit more. You might not get like faked out as much. It's just going to be a slower move. If you're looking to kind of make, 10 cents, let's say you got in, right here, 313 to 318. Again, 5 cents, not a big deal. But if you went in and you had, 10,000 shares of this, right? There's 2 point something million shares traded today. So some people may have said, I'm going to get in at the break of this candle right here and, make 5 cents on 10,000 shares. And that's $500 in that 5-cent move, right? If it breaks above here, maybe you make 10 cents. So it's a slower grinder. It's more kind of a slower kind of move, kind of riding you can kind of draw a trend line and just watch this thing slowly move. Whereas something like, what was it? CDTI. What was the one that pumped and dumped today? Not CDTI. But a low float stock would just go like, boom, it gets a big, huge green candlestick, and then 1 or 2 later, just boom, smacks back down. But you could have made 30, 40 cents in that candle, whereas this maybe you make 5 or 10, right? Just kind of slower. I just want to see now if this one's going to break above 318 and continue. But at least you can see patterns, right? You can see kind of more of that ascending-ish triangle, or kind of just a triangle in general. You can kind of start drawing a trend line. So when you can draw trend lines and you can find patterns, it makes limiting your risk a little bit better. DAS is really good, Hannah. The only thing is with DAS, man, I'm so not good at like keeping my mouth shut. DAS is really good. Their tech support is not. But if you can figure out tech stuff on your own, then they're good. But it's about $150 a month. So you only need really to use DAS if you're going to trade like big positions. If you're looking 5,000, 10,000 shares or more, and you want to scale your way in and out of positions, then use DAS, right? But if you're going to, 1 to 5,000 shares, you're not going crazy, you're kind of just getting in and out, then Interactive Brokers is great. You can use their platform. Their hotkeys are great. And the thing that's kind of drives me crazy, and this is why I want to talk to Interactive Brokers directly. I've had several conversations with them, and I said, listen, your platform's almost identical to DOS. If you just cleaned it up a little bit, it's right there. Their trader workstation is very similar looking to DOS. They just got to clean it up a little bit. If they did that, they wouldn't lose people to other platforms, right? It's just, I don't know what they're thinking. And then Thinkorswim, what bothers me, if they could just get better locates on shorts and just do editable hotkeys, nobody would leave, right? If you could just literally use Thinkorswim, their charting's awesome. I'd argue it's pretty one, if not the best out there. So simple to use. Just get better locates for shorts, like an Interactive Brokers, and just do editable hotkeys. Then nobody would leave. There's no need to. Customer service is great, great charts, great service, setup. But it's just kind of silly, and it drives me crazy how it's like I use this for a whole screen for Thinkorswim, and then I use another screen to trade with Interactive Brokers. It's just stupid, but that's the way it is. So now you got to be careful of this doji candle right here, right? So now you got to watch and see. At this point right now, now you have kind of a cup and maybe a handle, so it might break out. You have kind of an ascending triangle right over here, but you could also have kind of a double top failure as well. So you got to watch these patterns. This is where these ascending triangles get a little bit wacky, right? You got to watch the patterns form. Hotkeys is an issue, yeah, with let me do this. I'll show you guys here. I'm just trying to show you guys patterns and how things form, because it's all about these patterns. Yeah, Hannah, I mean, that's the other thing. Hannah makes a great point. Oh, awesome to hear, Lone. So, yeah, Hannah makes a great point. So going over here to our trade room with Hannah saying, let me go over here. So, would you say it could take up to 15 seconds for a trade to execute, even if you have a 5-cent buffer and buy and ask? Perfect example. Great question, Hannah. So yes, that's another thing, guys. Going back to what we were saying earlier with the delays, right? Guys, just because you buy doesn't mean you're getting in, right? If you're buying something, you need a seller, right? So that's a whole other thing again, where we talk about, trade rooms, or if we call it a trade to you, right? If we get in on something with a better entry, it's easier to get filled. But now as the excitement starts to come in, now you have people waiting, buying, you need a seller to sell you when you're buying. So now when I say in CDTI, if you're coming in 5 or 10 seconds later, now you're coming in with more of the herd. You have to be able to get filled, right? So you're trying to get filled with the herd. Meanwhile, we've got our shares kicking back, and we're like, we're going to dump. We dump it out, and, now you're chasing us out of our position. Exactly, David. So that's why it's so simple. When you have a huge following, guys, it's so simple to call a trade in. You chase, we call it on the way out. You chase us on the way out, and then we use a big, again, it's so simple. It's so simple to do that. It's so easy. Charge you guys memberships. You guys pay us memberships. Take that money, throw it in an account. We wake up every day. We know we're going to have hundreds of people chasing us in a trade and out of a trade. What's the pressure in that? There's no pressure, right? Buy 5,000, 10,000 shares. Make 10 cents scalp, make $500 to $1,000. Meanwhile, most of you guys would fail on the trade. But we look like heroes, and I can make, a nice fun video recap, put my thumbnail up with me holding cash and made $1,000 on the day, or $5,000. I look like a hero. Meanwhile, you guys don't know what the heck you're doing. Guys, it's all a trap, right? They do that. Like these, again, that's the game, right? You know, you get confused. You pay a monthly membership fee. The person looks like a hero, or the group looks like a hero that they made $5,000 or $10,000 on the day. You're confused. What do you do as a newbie? I need help. Well, pay thousands of dollars for our coaching, hundreds of dollars for our coaching, buy thousands of dollars for our courses. That's the game. Oh, let's keep an eye on BLNK. Let's go back. BLNK. So now it's getting a little bit let's do this. Now you got to find the pattern in the setup right here. It's a little bit choppier up in here. It's still a little bit challenging, right? You still got to find the pattern, so it's still it's difficult, right? You got to definitely look at $8 over here. It's crossing above VWAP, but still the patterns are risky. It's still kind of hard it's not a clearly defined bull flag or triangle. Like you can kind of, zoom in. When you kind of got to gauge or guess or kind of make it, let's do this. Let's see if we can kind of find something here. See, you guys see this? It's not like, okay, I can maybe move it out over here a little bit, right? So while we're out in this litter, but then you got to, again, be aware of this candle wick up here. See if it can get above 780, but you're still going to be trapped in, again, got to be aware of all of this over here. So this is where, some people might just play this to like get in at a cross above VWAP on a 1 minute using a close below VWAP. So maybe you got in, right over in here. You can kind of see this. You can kind of see the triangle, but it's got to break out and continue, but be aware of all of this over here. It's going to contend with all of this. And there you go. So now it's got to get above. So this is a low floater, guys, right? So what I was telling you about earlier, BLNK, 691 up to 810. What is that, $1.20 or something? Really quick up, easily falls back down, right? Volatility. So this got to get above 780 now to potentially continue. But you can see right over in here, 760 to 779. It's only 20 cents, but still 20-cent risk management. Got to be careful. Rose, what did he do? Oh, dang, Rose. Rose just posted this picture. Killing it. Killing it. 2,300. Guys, send all your people. Get them signed up with Bullish Bears. We'll put Rose on the payroll. She'll be the futures teacher. From tent to one bedroom. That's funny. Great job, Rose. So you guys seeing this? Patterns, right? It's breaking out above VWAP. Needs to hold and get out. Get out of this 780 range. And then it's got to contend up in here. Rose will be trading from her yacht in the Aegean Sea by midsummer. Yeah, she will be. Here you go. Now you got to see it get above 780 and hold. You want to see it hold. But again, I want to draw your attention to this, guys. It's still not clear. It's still choppy. You got to contend with all of this. Not saying it can't go up, but it's got to contend with all of this. So at this point, you want to see it go and hold. Get this 9 EMA to push it up. Candlesticks are everything, guys. You're right. Well, let me see with what Semi's posting. Yeah, Semi just sent me a message. Yeah, it's a cup and a handle for sure. Now that's on what time frame is that on? I'll pull up Apron in a second, APRN. Oh, shoot. There we go. Sorry, guys. My computer screen's getting all weird. So APRN, let's go over to that one real quick. So again, we'll come back over here. So it's got to get above 780 to continue, but it's messy over here. Doesn't mean it can't go up, but it's more difficult for risk management. APRN, Blue Apron. So yeah, this is the picture Semi just sent. So you do have a cup and you have a handle. It's got to get above that 318. Now, perfect example of patterns, guys. This is where you can see here an ascending triangle, higher lows. You can draw a trend line. You can see 1, 2, 3, kind of 4. These, you can see a top being formed. And you can see it bounces around, right? Bounces around in this ascending triangle, goes up and down and XYZ, right? So now you can see price on an ascending triangle. You want to see it break out above the top and hold. But sometimes it'll break up a little bit, come back down. But remember, here's that kind of like that trend line right here. So this is either going to go and break out above 318, or this could fall back down again right here before it maybe continues up. So, but finding these patterns, right? Good eye, nice eye. Cup and handle, ascending triangle. It could easily break down. But you can see this could fall below this trend line. It can fall down, even down, back down to VWAP and still hold the pattern. We would just kind of change, it would change the trend line, right? You'd still have the top. So, you'd still have the top, but you can extend the trend line. If it goes out, further over here, you just extend it out, right? If it fell down over in here, you'd extend the trend line out here and you can still have the ascending triangle. But again, finding these patterns, super important. Rose says, never trade dojis, even if it is a real body with the same length wicks. Stay the heck away. Wait for confirmation. Look at RSI while trading. Very good advice. Dojis are indecision and they can trap you. And yeah, I'm going to show you guys one on BLNK. You can see it happening right now. So we're going to come back. So again, we'll come back to Blue Apron in a moment. Here's the trend line, ascending triangle, bouncing around in here. It could easily fail the trend line, got to watch and see. But that 318 is a very important area for the breakout. So yeah, BLNK, go back over here. So here you go, guys, right? We were just looking at this. Price crossed above VWAP, which is a good potential bullish sign. Then you can see it's struggling at that 780 marker, right? We'll put that line across over here. Guys, no coincidence. You have a big doji candle go over here from the start of the day. You have this kind of spinning top, high wave, doji, whatever the hell you want to call it. Another spinning top over here. It's got all of this that it's got to contend with. So just because it might be hitting trade ideas or another stock room is pumping it for a scalp, they bought it down here, 760. They sold it up here for an 18-cent move. You could be like, oh my God, that's great. That's amazing. I just got, I made the scalp. Sure, you can. Absolutely. You can get in over here for an anticipation or a break of VWAP and scalp this. But newbies, they're going to get trapped buying out in here, right here, right? They're going to buy out in here, and then boom, it dumps down. Here you go. There's a doji 5-minute candle right here. That's a potential reversal sign. So my point being is the pattern is just very difficult to trade this because you have all of that choppiness. Got to be careful. Yeah, it is. The game is you know what, for sure. Oh, I love when Rose posts charts. What's she looking at? Crude oil futures. Rose might be giving Dan a run for his money for trend line. Dan, we might have to give Rose your trend line master handle. Trend is your friend until the end. True, Rose. All right, let me see. Let's go back to Blue Apron. Again, this is just a slow mover. Just want to show you guys patterns. Blue Apron. Here you go. There you go. Perfect example, guys. What did I show you guys? Patterns, trend lines. There's your trend line. Here we go. Let's see if it holds or see if it fails, and we got to create a new trend line. See if the buyers come back in, push it up. You can see the ascending triangle gets a little bit messy. Rose, the trend line master. So that's why we say, guys, patterns don't always break out. Many times patterns break down. So ascending triangles don't always break out. Many times they break down. We don't know what's going to happen with this one. Either this is going to kind of bounce around a little bit and let me extend the trend line out, or it's going to fail. And it's touching right at that 9 EMA on the 5 minute, starting to trade sideways. If you're bullish on it, you want to see that 9 EMA curl up and push it up. Yeah, many people are short bias, guys. Shorting's a whole other, it's a great way to trade. Obviously, you need a broker you can short with. Interactive Broker is really good for shorting. So yeah, shorting is, we are huge fans of shorting. We have a bunch of shorting videos on our YouTube playlist. We try to focus more just on showing you guys longing, just because, again, most people don't have a good shorting broker. A lot of traders that are new don't necessarily have $10,000. You have to have at least $10,000 to put into an Interactive Broker's account, and then you also have the PDT rule as well. So in order to be able to short effectively, you need at least $25,000 in your account at least, so you don't have the PDT rule. So if you put 25 grand or so into an account like Interactive Brokers, then you could trade in and out freely without the PDT rule. So you can see it's kind of struggling a little bit over here. So now maybe we kind of extend this trend line maybe out a little bit over here, right? So you got to watch these areas. Is it going to stay up, or is it going to fall outside of it and break down? You struggle going short? Yeah, I mean, many people do. But I'll show you guys here. Well, let me find a decent one I can show you. I'll find one that's decent in a second to show you guys. I'll take a couple minutes to talk to you guys about shorting. We'll come back to APRN. So that's kind of what it's doing, right? Ascending triangle. See if it fails, if it breaks out. Again, slow grinder. Let's maybe pull up, I'm trying to see a good one that may have been a good short. Let's take a look at CDTI. Okay, so typically, let's see how far, 124 down to, there's not a lot of room. So there's several different ways that you can short, right? But ideally with shorting, or let me reverse it. With longing, you want to buy low, sell high, right? So if you found a pattern right here, you want to buy as close to the moving average lines as possible, and then you want to sell, you know, ideally as far away from the moving average lines as possible. You sell at resistance, right? Buy low, sell high. So if you got in, let's say at the break with CDTI above that 5-minute candle over here, you could have rode it technically all the way out like this, and then when you start to see this candle form, get the heck out, right? So you would have gotten in 70 cents. Even if you waited for this entire candle to form, you could have gotten out. If you didn't play, just didn't even look at the 1 minute, if you were just trading patterns, you can see, okay, green candles moving up. This candle closed, I'm getting the heck out. So let's say 70 cents to this candle of $1.24. That's whatever. I don't know what the heck. What that 70-cent move? Phenomenal. Great move, right? Obviously, when this starts to form, you know, you'd probably want to, again, now you want to like go to the 1 minute chart and you can see right over here, you could have gotten out, right? That's a shooting star. Get the heck out of there, right? So this is a big warning to get the heck out. So if you just played the 5 minute, you could have gotten in at the break of this 5 minute candle, used to close below right here as your stop, and rode it up, let this 5 minute candle form. You saw this, get the heck out. If you want to get out earlier, you take a look at these 1 minute right here. This is big warning to get the heck out. So with shorting, technically what you want to do is, again, sell high, buy low. When you're longing, it's buy low, sell high. When you're shorting, ideally you sell high and then buy low to cover. So when you sell high, and how shorting works, you're selling a position. So let's just say 1,000 shares, right? So if we're just going to talk 1,000 shares. If I sold 1,000 shares at $1.13, right, I'd be negative 1,000 shares with my broker and down down $1,113, right? So I'm negative with my broker. I sold high, I'm negative with my broker. I'm down 1,000 shares. So when I buy it back, so sell high, so for instance, you can just sell it. Let's say you were to sell at the bid. So right now, let's reverse it. If we were longing, buy at the ask, sell at the bid. If you wanted to get in and out, right? Buy at the ask, sell at the bid to get in and out. Obviously, you want to try to get better deals, but if I'm going long, buy at the ask, get an immediate fill. Let's say usually it should fill. Sell at the bid to get out. Buy at the ask, sell at the bid. If you wanted to, again, try to get better deals, I'm just giving you guys real world examples. When you're shorting, you could sell at the bid to get more of an immediate fill and then buy at the ask to cover. So if I was to sell at the bid and I'm negative 1,000 shares, if I buy at the ask, I'm now buying it back and now I'm to even, right? So it's not that confusing, guys. It's just the opposite of longing. And, you know, so I'm going to show you guys this over here, like an example. You can see this 5 minute candle form right here. This is not the greatest example for risk management, but technically you can see price is very overextended and far away from the moving average lines right over here. So technically what you would do if the pattern forms on something like this, you could let this 5 minute candle close. Ideally, you'd want to sell up here. But if you're just doing a 5 minute pattern, let this close. You can take a short when price falls below this 5 minute red candle using a close above this candle as your stop. Now, risk management isn't great. That's still about 25 cents. It's a little bit, it's kind of a lot, right? Because you're not getting necessarily a 2-to-1. You want to try to get a 2-to-1 profit to loss ratio. So you're risking, you know, at least 25 cents, and down to the moving average lines, you're looking 24 cents down to You know, so you can see naturally price wants to move back down to the 9, 107 to 124. That's only 17 cents or so. So here's where profit loss ratio is not good. You're risking at least 25 cents over here to make 17 cents. That's terrible. That's, again, it can still pull back, but you're risking more than you could potentially make, right? But I want to show you guys this. You could take a short below this candle. Let's pretend this was a lot smaller of a candle, like 5 or 10 cents, right? You could take a short below this candle, looking to buy back and cover near these moving average lines. Obviously, when you're going short, you can use a 5-minute pattern, or you can get your entry on a 1-minute. Ideally, you would have kind of taken it right up here on the 1-minute. You can see this shooting star candle. You know, take a short below this one right over here using a close up here and look to buy back, you know, down around the 9 moving average line. My whole point being, this is not the best pattern to go off of, but, you know, ideally you sell high, buy low to cover. So again, when price gets overextended out here, it wants to naturally gravitate back to the moving average lines. You got to watch all the patterns. But you want to have at least a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio. So if you're risking 10 cents, you want to be able to make 20. If you're risking 50 cents, you want to be able to make $1. I'm hoping that helps you guys. If not, make sure you watch our shorting videos on YouTube. Give it a couple more minutes, and I'm going to shut down in a few minutes, guys. So it's funny. I'm not a morning person. Every time I start the stream, I'm like, oh, man, am I going to be able to talk? Am I going to whatever? And then I look, and it's almost, what, an hour and a half later. I'm like, wow, guess I had some energy. So I get more of my energy at the end of the day, not in the mornings. So not seeing much right now. Let's go over to futures right here. Futures. Futures is, yeah, so there you go. Again, support and resistance, guys. All about support and resistance. You see I had that line up here from right over here. This candlestick yesterday and this one over here extends out in the future. So now you have a third day, goes up here, boom, dumps back down. It's trading in this kind of this channel right here, right? Indecision. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I haven't looked at that chart in a few days. So this was all about, I hope you guys are watching. Hope you guys are paying attention. Because this is going to fire me all up. Right? So important to watch the charts. Bitcoin. Right? You guys see these lines? I've been showing you guys. If you watch my videos, my watch list videos, my recap videos, I show you guys this stuff all the time. You can see. Descending triangle. I've been seeing people I'm still friends with on Facebook pumping Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin is the future. It very well may be, but the charts aren't showing it. And then some people will say, well, you can't judge the charts by Bitcoin. Well, that's BS, because traders don't just, you know, the people who have all the money aren't going to be like, oh, Bitcoin's the future, so let me buy up here. Let me put all my money in Bitcoin at $20,000 or $10,000 while it's falling. No, you know, you got to see. This is like, look at this big descending triangle, a double top right over here, a big double bottom over here. But what did it do? You zoom in, and it went right up to just below $10,000, huge psychological resistance. And what did it do? Another double top. See ya. Drop. Falling. Everything's bearish. Probably going to head down right to here. Maybe form a triple bottom. Who the heck knows? But, guys, You know, this is why you got to be careful and not listen to pumpers and chat rooms and all your friends saying, hey, buy, 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 right? Now I'm all fired up. Descending triangle, double top, bearish, bear flag, bear flag, bear flag to a double top. Those are both all bearish patterns coming down here. Now you can see double bottom. That is a bullish potential pattern, right? So you suckered everybody in. Hey, newbies, right here. Let's trap you all in. We got you. We got your money. All the pros are like, oh, we're going to dump here. That's right below $10,000. That's a huge psychological resistance area. We're going to dump, trap all the newbies. See you guys. You're newbies again. Get screwed again. Bought at 15, 20,000. Now you're going to buy at 10,000. We're going to drop it right back down again. So don't listen to anybody that tells you don't buy it, that charts don't matter. That's crap. Never, ever, ever listen to anybody that tells you that charts don't matter. You mean you think like Warren Buffett and these guys are not looking at, like, you know, whatever they're investing in at the futures or whatever? You think they don't pay attention to charts? You think they just take their money and gamble it and say, oh, okay, yeah, Bitcoin's at the future. Let me buy it at top. Meanwhile, it's falling like a knife. You know, you think like these pros that have all their billions of dollars, right? Let me buy everything at a top over here. No, they're waiting for support and they're selling at resistance. It's so ridiculous. It's just, it drives me absolutely crazy. Yes, the live stream's only on YouTube right now. We may change it in the future. So guys, that's my rant that you don't buy just because somebody is hyping and pumping. You buy at support, you sell at resistance. Again, another example of that is these pot stocks, right? TWMJF. This is Canada's darling, TWMJF, Canada's darling pot stock. Again, not saying it's not going to be good long term, but you got to be very careful, right? Pump up, dump back down. Pump up, dump back down. Pump up. Now it's kind of dumping back down. Now you kind of have, you know, you can start drawing a little bit of a pattern, right? So you kind of have that right here. Might be forming a symmetrical triangle, right? So a pattern to keep an eye on. But if you're just like, this is why it's so important to know support and resistance. Right here. This area is resistance. This area is resistance. Now this area is another level of resistance. But newbies, they buy up here when all of the big pros are selling. The pros are buying down here. They're selling up here. The newbies are buying up here, and they're getting screwed down here. They're buying up here at tops, and meanwhile it falls down. They're crying. They're losing their life savings. They're getting divorces and all of that because what happens? They got suckered in to the emotions of trading. You don't buy high. You buy low. You sell high. You wait for an entry to get back in again and sell high. Buy low. Nah, I wouldn't say buy down here, but you got to find these areas. Support and resistance. Pump up, dump down. Pros got in down here. Newbies got suckered up here. Meanwhile, you're buying at $35 and then you just drop down $17. You lost half your life savings. Then you get back up here, right? So now you get through this. You're about to ready, like you're on meds for trying to control your anxiety. That you can't stomach all the what happened to your life savings. Meanwhile, you have a sign of hope back here. Got pumped back up to $32. You bought at $35. You're like, oh my God, it's going to go back up again. Here we go. And then meanwhile, you didn't sell again and took a smaller loss, and boom, you're right back down here again. You're going to have a panic. You're going to freak out. Oh, another sign of life here. You still bought at $35. Now you're down to $30. You know, could have still taken a loss, right? You bought at a top, and now you're stomaching all over here. So now you have from January all the way to May. It's probably going to be the worst 5 or 6 months of your life this year. And here you go. Buy at support, sell at resistance. That's my lesson to teach you guys for the day. You may hate me for saying it, some of you guys, because some of you guys are probably trapped up in stuff like this, or you're trapped up in Bitcoin. Right here, MGTI. Remember, this one was pumped up, right? Bitcoin stock. Many of you newbies bought up here. The pros bought down over here. They bought right down in these areas here. pumped it up. You guys bought it $8. Meanwhile, it's down to $1 and you're probably crying and it's not feeling so hot. Riot, another one, RIOT over here. Look at this one here. Here you go, newbies. Buy Bitcoin. It's the best thing on the planet. You're buying at $46 right up here. Meanwhile, the pros bought in these areas down here, sold up here, trapped you newbies all the way back down to, hey, went up to $6 or $8. What are you going to do? How do you get this thing from $8 back up to $46? You bought it at $46. How are you going to get your money back? You better hope and pray this thing's going to go back up again, but chances are it'll get pumped up to here again or down here, right? So there you go. Over and over and over again. Ultimate pot stock pump and dump. Got pumped up to $11 this year, right back down to $2. Here you go, newbies. Pot stocks are going to be the wave of the future. Buy now, hold long. Going to be great. Here you go. Pros buy down here in these areas. They sell up here. Newbies, you get suckered and trapped up here. Meanwhile, you lose all your life savings down here. And then you got to hope and pray it goes back. But guess what? Go back to the charts on a can like this. The ultimate garbage pump and dump crappy pot stock. This thing got pumped up to $64 back in March of 2014. There are people that put probably $50,000, $60,000 in this garbage pot stock back in March of 2014. What is that, 4 or 5 years later now? And it's at $3.70. Don't ever, ever, ever listen to anybody tell you to buy something without knowing the charts. If you are buying stocks and you don't know support and resistance, you're going to lose money unless you get lucky. Have a good financial advisor, somebody that's a professional, sure. But your Facebook friends or your friends and family that are telling you something's the wave of the future, if you're buying it and you don't know where support and resistance is, good luck. And that is my rant for today. All right, let's go over to Apron real quick to show you that it's not doing much of anything. Kind of go back to it again. You can kind of see now, again, pattern. So now you can see it was that ascending triangle, starts failing outside of it. You can keep extending it out, not looking great. But that's why, guys, patterns, many times they break out, many times they break down. Doesn't mean it's failed yet. You know, it's still got to hold that 314 area. It could still hold and go up, but all about support and resistance. Yeah, that word is forbidden in this room. Yeah, Bitcoin. Again, but, so guys, I am a fan of trading a Bitcoin stock, right? You know, a stock like MGTI, right? The stock right here. This is great for volatility, right? You want to trade something like this when like it kind of pumps up, you know, like you pump it up, you day trade it, right? Or maybe a day, like you hold a day, maybe two. This is why we tell people, there are some people like, how come you don't put stocks that are like small cap stocks on, you know, for a swing trade watches? Because it's super hard. You don't know what these things, man. These things are bat bleep crazy. They move up and they move down. So like, you know, it's hard to put this on a swing because you don't know if it's going to dump or, you know, pump or dump, right? Here's a big middle finger saying F you right here. Let's pump you up and dump it. You get trapped like this. You got to be super careful, right? But it's good to trade these things, man. Lots of volatility, right? You can get a bull flag, pump it up right here, bull flag, pump up, you know. So there's lots of volatility on those, you know, Bitcoin pot stocks, you know. Very well worth trading them for sure. All right, so I think I'm done for the day. I'll give you guys my little sales pitch here. I was a life of a salesman, 20 years in corporate America. Sales. I wonder should I give you guys my elevator pitch or my wedge statement? We used to do wedge statements back in the day. And we'd have to walk in. I used to do door-to-door business sales, and I'd have to go to everybody and have wedge statements. Then back in the day, there was elevator pitches, right? You got to give somebody an elevator pitch, but then I guess it evolved into wedge statements. So I don't know if they took the elevator pitch thing and then changed the terminology, made it wedge statements. Who the heck knows, right? Corporate America, they got to control the masses. They got to get you thinking like them. So my wedge. So maybe I'll give you guys my wedge statement today, or my elevator pitch. I do have a kind of one. It just kind of flows naturally. So I guess we're all in sales to some degree. So yes, I'm selling you guys. I'm always selling you guys. That's life. We selling everything. So come join the Bullish Bears if you haven't already. All right. So very simple, guys. You know, I mean, I'm going to sell you guys, but there's really, I mean, it just kind of sells itself, right? I mean, we have our day trade room. We have our swing trade room over here. We're just in here every day talking, having fun, right? If you're watching on YouTube right now and you're not a member, you can see we have our day trade room here. Our swing trade room's a little bit slower because obviously you're not getting in and out of trades every moment of the day. Awesome, Chaz. Love it. Welcome. So yeah, and what we're doing right now is we're doing the YouTube lives. Yes, there's a little bit of a delay. We'll probably use a different platform at some point. But guys, here's the thing. We're not calling out trades to you. You know, we're not calling out trades. We're just not that style. So if we're calling out trades, again, even if we called out trades, we might take a 10-second YouTube delay and move it down to 2 seconds, but you're still going to chase us, right? Why do you want to do that? If you're new, why do you want to know what trade I get in and out of? Unless you just want to see what's being done, right? But I'd argue, who gives a crap what trade I get in and out of, or Dan gets in and out of? What matters is what I've been showing you guys all morning for an hour and a half, support and resistance. That's what you need. You need to study this. This is an hour and a half long video. That's a long video. But guess what? There's so much that we're doing every day with teaching you support and resistance. You got to watch this stuff. If you're new, you're going to study for a couple hours a day. That's just the reality of things, right? I don't want to get on. I'll get on a tangent again. So here we go. Here's our couple trade rooms over here. Our trade alerts over here. Again, very simple. Make sure you read about our trade alerts over here. We're not a stock pumping service. So when an alert goes off, you don't just buy it, right? You got to know support and resistance. And I don't know why my computer's taking so long right now. Why is it delaying? What the heck is going on right now? Dan, I need an upgrade. There we go. So read about our trade alerts over here. These are our alert setups. We show you key areas of support and resistance. Just because an alert goes off doesn't mean you trade it. You got to see if the setup is good. So again, we send out alerts each night, along with our stock watch list. So each night, guys, under our alert section, we have a stock watch list tab. We post our daily and our swing trade watch list every single day over here. So just come check this link out every night. We update it every night with our watch list, right? So we put the watch list, both of them, over here on our website, and then we email out the alerts every single night to those that are paid. So paid members get our trade rooms and our alerts. And for you freebies, you can come over here. You can pirate it out, send it to all your friends if you want. Yes, we know you're taking it and sharing it, so go ahead and take it and share it. It's totally fine. But check out here every night, we have our watch list. We also have our courses, a few $1,000s worth of free courses. We're still working on, again, we'll have our candlesticks ebook and our wallpaper backgrounds probably in the next month or so. Again, we're having our artist do it. Like, again, you see stuff like this. Our artist is good. He puts his stuff together, makes it look nice and look all pretty. I can't do this stuff. This is what he does. So we're kind of going to have our candlestick ebook and all that. We're going to have all that stuff. Hold on, I'm looking what David, I think Lucian is in another trade room. No, I'm just talking, like, again, like more of the day trade stuff for you guys. I'm going to mix it up for you guys. We're going to do, again, like a day or so a week. We'll do swing trading as well. So, I don't know. I just got distracted. Yeah. Oh, so we're going to do our ebooks and our wallpaper background, have it nice and look nice and not all crappy and cheesy. We want it to be cool. Lots of other extra content here, members only videos. We share our trade ideas link every day. Guys, if you want to know if we're worth it, we give you a $120 scanner. You can look at our trade idea screen every single day. Try it before you buy it. We recommend highly that you have your own copy of trade ideas, but if you're new and you don't have the money, use ours until you feel comfortable, and then you start making, money, and then buy your, once you have money, buy your own copy of trade ideas. Again, trade ideas and Market Club are our two favorite scanners. Market Club is incredible for swing trading. You could also tweak it for day trading as well. It's also about the half the price of Trade Ideas. So if you're on a budget, really good, you can get 2-week offer over here. Again, guys, make sure you pay very close attention to our recent posts too. We're always updating with content. So everything that we put out a video on, we also do articles. So some people like watching videos, some people like reading articles. Keep an eye out over here. Dan just put up one up over here on his adjustable stand-up desk. You're going to see more articles. We're going to mix them up, doing some product reviews, things that we use. Again, trading is not just about, hey, let me log into my brokerage account and make money today. Trading is also about mindset. It's also about the equipment that you use. What type of desk, what type of screens, what type of laptop, what type of mouse, what type of keyboard. There's so many different types of stuff, right? So we're going to start incorporating some of this stuff over here for you guys. So read about it, read about what we use. We're going to probably post some videos, kind of review stuff that we do, and take a look over here, right? Look at these articles. And yes, we have partnerships with Amazon. So if you click on any of the links, it helps us. Guys, it's very simple. We're always trying to, again, keep costs down, right? So if you, again, we're $10 a month right now, super cheap. So read between the lines here. If you ever buy a product from us, or you read an article and it's useful and you buy something from Amazon, it helps to grow things. Yes, we get paid on it. Yes, we have partnerships. So if you buy something from us that you're going to use anyway, buy it from us. Hey, it helps to keep things down. The bigger we grow, the more income we make as a community, and the more we'll be able to give back to you guys and maybe keep it $10 a month. Very simple, guys, right? So read between the lines. So if you're ever looking for something for Amazon, go click on one of our links, buy it from us. Go store Amazon. Yes, we'll make more money, but guys, we'll give you more back and we'll keep the prices lower. Very simple. We're just looking at different ways to help you guys out and grow, right? So all that good stuff over here, you can click subscribe. And over here, $10 a month. If you guys notice here, nowhere on here does it say screen sharing. I just gave you guys an hour and a half long, just like Dan, and we're both doing it, tag teaming up. All the screen sharing, and nowhere on here is it to be found. So $10 is in here. But, who knows? Someday, again, for those that have done the research or whatever, most trading companies that are doing screen sharing, they're charging you $150 to $200 a month, like clockwork. And they're not doing options and stuff like that. They're not sharing trade ideas links. They're not having thousands of dollars worth of courses. We're $10. It's not a catch. It's not a catch. We're $10 because we're trying something different. At some point, we may raise our prices. That's not our intention. Hey, the more you guys that keep signing up like you're doing, the more we'll keep it $10, right? But anybody that stays $10 a month, don't worry. We'll reward you. We're not about screwing anybody. We're all about trying to help you guys. So that's what I've got today. Hope y'all liked it. If you didn't, well, I don't know what to tell you. Have a great day, everybody. And I'll probably do something at the end of the day. Or actually, Dan might. I don't know. He might be doing the watch list or something. So somebody will be doing something. And if not, you'll at least get the watch list and alerts. And you can keep yourself very busy by just watching all this content right over here. Go over to Bullish Bears right on our YouTube. Subscribe. Click the notification bell. If we ever not send out a watch list or a recap, here you go. Here's hours right here. This will keep you busy every single day. Tons of content. All right, guys. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you later. Enjoy.